when I posted about things like body dysmorphia, it seems to get a lot of a different response to women's area of like body positivity, which is a bit more like fat acceptance, for example. And when I post about that on men, people are like, no, this is not what it's about. You should be encouraging men to be better and take care of their health and go to the gym and look after themselves and eat properly. And I'm like, I actually have a lot of time for that. Perhaps not as much as some people, but I think we can use this space for men to do better too, for ourselves and for others. So yeah, you're right.
Well, talk to me more about body dysmorphia. What's the state of body dysmorphia in men in 2024?
I mean, a lot of these conditions are based around how they present in women. So the way in which women are insecure about their bodies are not the same as men. So it's easy to miss the ways in which men have body dysmorphia, even more so when they're even less likely to tell people about it. So very less likely to disclose these feelings. But there are plenty of men. Now, the latest research is saying men are no less likely to suffer from body dysmorphia as women. The International OCD Foundation puts it down at about 2 to 1, so 2 women for every 1 man. But it's a massive problem. Like, I know loads of men that are really, really insecure. Like, it ruins their life in many ways. They're insecure about different things. And it's not, like I said, it's not necessarily about weight or like the size of their bum, like women. It's about like their hairline, their facial hair and their height, penis size. And really sad, like there's so many contraptions that are just exploiting these insecurities for like huge amounts of money that are just dangerous and not safe and not right. And like, yeah, if you just look at, I remember seeing like a meme, it was like, this is what women are expected to be, and someone put down the Barbie doll, and then someone was like, well, this is men, and it was like fucking He-Man, and he had like a 12-pack and he's like 12 feet tall and absolutely, and I was like, how is that any more achievable than that? That's not to say we shouldn't be trying to be like He-Man in many ways, but it's got to be realistic. And unfortunately we don't. If you look at those celebrities like Wolverine, for example, or Superman, or what's his name, Henry Cavill. The only way they can get that physique is by literally dehydrating their body for 3 days. So when Henry Cavill takes his top off, or Hugh Jackman takes his top off and he looks great, he's not drank water for 3 days. So there's no water in his body and the skin sits on his muscles perfectly. So there's none of his flab. And I was like, that is just not achievable. Like, we need to drink water, and presenting these hyper-masculine men as a result of them dehydrating themselves is dangerous, because that's just simply not possible to do that. Not to mention they've gone for like a 12-month physical fitness regime with like some of the best sort of personal trainers in the world. So I absolutely am on board with like men bettering themselves, but I want to temper that with a sense of realism.
I've seen a weird swing, because I've been very much into gym since I was about 13. So I've grown up through my adolescence pursuing having a better physique and surrounded by all these influencers on Instagram. And I've been toying around with this idea in my head, and I haven't really articulated it out loud, but I've seen this trend where before it was all, look at this guy with an amazing physique. He's claiming that he's natural and has never been on steroids. Maybe I can achieve his physique one day. And that's super damaging, because you're setting unrealistic body standards, and all men think that if they just put in enough work, they will look like insert fitness influencer on a shit ton of steroids. But in the last few years, I've seen this swing back to authenticity, where people do share that they're on steroids. Someone like Sam Sulek talking about it, or Noel Diesel. And actually, from what I've seen anecdotally, to what value that's worth, I don't know, is more people considering taking steroids, because that illusion is gone, that if you work hard enough, you can have that dream body. And actually,
it's gone the opposite way.
The reality's hit that to have this body, you need to take steroids. And you'd think that those boys would go, okay, I'm just going to lower my expectations. But they don't. They just rise to them with the steroids now.
Whose expectations are they trying to meet? Like, some people think that they're women's expectations, but some people think they're men's expectations. I actually think when I go to the gym and I see some guy doing muscle ups and incredible, like, it's the people that are looking at that, like, clapping, are the men. Like, it's the men that are impressed by the muscle ups. I don't think women are that impressed. So I always want to know, whose expectations are you trying to meet? It's the same for, like, I find women that wear loads of makeup, and they just look like a doll. And like fake hair, fake eyelashes, fake everything. And I'm like, who is that for? I don't think most men find that attractive. I think that's for other women. Like, you're trying to sort of peacocking, I suppose you'd call it.
It's sort of the status game.
Yeah, it's status game. And I'm like, I think most men just prefer like a, just a natural look. and not this hyper feminine or hyper masculine. And I feel like we're doing that to appease ourselves and our peers. So yeah, I wish I could do a muscle up. I still have not done it. But yeah, I always question, who am I doing it for? But yeah, I mean, it's sad that people being more honest around steroids has actually led to an increase in people taking steroids.
And I don't have hard data on that, but
no, but I mean,
from what I've seen,
it's interesting. You would have thought it would go the opposite, or hoped it would have gone the opposite. But I'm glad that people are being more transparent, saying you cannot achieve this without steroids.
Yeah. Freya India talks again about how people now have Instagram face, and that actually, because of social media, people aren't going to these plastic surgery clinics with a picture of a celebrity, but they're going with a picture of themselves with a filter on their face. And I think that's very symbolic of what social media has done to Gen Z as a generation. We're now bettering ourselves, not even to have higher status than men in real life, but to have higher status than other people on social media. Everything's geared towards that crazy world where 10% of people make 92% of the noise, where the extremities are pushed. And I don't know if I see a way out of this with the current shape of social media.
I'm so glad I'm not involved. I don't do the filters thing. Like, it's amazing how much it changes someone's face. I'm like, what happens if one of these women go missing and all the photos are just completely, all these contorted, who the hell is, which one is, and she looks nothing like that. Like, obviously I'm joking, but yeah, that, again, like, you're putting a filter on someone's face that's changing the way they look and presenting it as that's who they are, and dangerous. I don't support it, and it's scary. But I'm thankfully they're now putting the fact that you can see it's a filter rather than this is them at their actual face. But
yeah, but I'm still going to be attending my mates' funerals in however many years, and the picture on top of the coffin is going to be them with like cheekbones and a filter on their face. I think the direction that we're heading is terrifying. Yeah,
it's at what point, like unlocking your phone, is it gonna, when you have so much makeup on, is it that is the facial recognition? It's just like, this is not the owner. Like, I don't know. It's a scary world that I'm just not part of. And like I said, I don't do filters. This is my face. I don't put my face so much on my page at all. I find it so weird how many influencers are like trying to do good work within like gender equality, and then there's just a photo of their face. And like, what does that mean? I don't care. And thankfully you won't see much about my page, because I don't like being on there too much, and I don't like my face. So maybe I should do some filters. Who knows?